What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching Big Mike and Little Ant. We are back with another episode. What episode is this, man?
I believe it's eight. Eight?
Nah, we definitely. It's got to be like 9.
It's eight
Well,
or
you
nine, but
guys.
you'll see it.
Yeah, well, you guys will see it. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out the show. We got a stacked show today. We've been holding this show for a while, and every day, almost every day, has been a new subject we've added to our topics. And so we are looking forward, as usual, to give you guys these polarizing topics and our opinions and our personalities and how it fused together for the Big Mike and Little Ant show. So what you got to say to the people, Mike?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in as always. And before I get to anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely got a stacked show for you guys. It's been a few weeks. A lot of things been happening. As you know, things have been opening up. So as things open up, you know, like life happens, you get a little busier than we used to be. But we're still trying to bring you this show and do the best we can. We're gonna talk about all this on the show. So, let's get right to it. So I figure we'll maybe talk about the harder stuff and then ease it into the lighter stuff.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to kind of do it. So let's get right down to Rashard Brooks. Let's start with that.
All right. Where do I start? So lately, on my way to work, I found this new so I don't have satellite radio anymore because I used to be a junkie for the news, but I found this new radio station. I don't remember. I know it's like WWHY or something. So I've been listening to news on the way to work and the way home, right? I'm a junkie for it. And so I heard about the Rashard Brooks thing. And at first, before all the details came in, you know how it is, the details trickle in.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this dude grabbing a cop's taser and firing at him? He's crazy. So I don't know how much I can defend that, right? Now, he did get shot in the back, but I was still like...
Twice.
Yeah, I'm still like, all right. So then when I heard yesterday, actually, on the news, that the cop, when he shot him, he said, "I got him." And then he kicked him while he was already on the ground after he was shot. And that, I was like, okay, so now I have to think about your intentions. Because why would you kick somebody after you shot them and they're on the ground? So that's where I started with this whole thing. And as we discuss it, I'll unveil,
My parts are more about the beginning of it and stuff. And the fact that, he was parked in a car asleep. Wendy's or whoever at Wendy's called the police. They come there, but he's not driving. He's literally parked asleep. They pull him out the car. They take his keys. They got his keys, got his ID and stuff like that. And obviously he's drunk, in a drunken state.
Right.
So that's part and parcel right there. Cause like if you're in a drunken state, everybody's drunken state is different. So you don't know what state of mind he actually is in. The cops don't, but they know he's drunk, stuff like that. He was coherent enough to say, I'm just parked right here. I can walk home if need be. My sister doesn't live too far and whatnot. So I don't understand the need for the arrest in the first place and whatnot. Because of the fact he wasn't actually driving and you had his keys so he couldn't drive. So why couldn't he walk home? Or why not be a good citizen and take the guy around the corner to his sister's house and let her sober him up and get the car and give her the keys and get the car the next day? I don't know if that's a part of them trying to fill, their different arrest quotas and whatnot, or what the arrest part came from. Now, the second part of it, I'm with you. When I first seen it, I was like, whoa, like you fighting the cops off and you taking his taser and you shooting back at him, even though you missed and stuff like that. Even with that, I don't know why he needed to be shot in the back. He had a taser, which he already shot at that point, which missed. And he's running away from you in other direction. Even if you wanted to still arrest him, why don't these guys aim for a person's leg or knee or something like that?
Two parts real quick. Last night, my friend, and I wanted you to hear this, but he were talking about the defunding the police, and if they took the money that they would defund from the police and create a new unit or new division or new department, new role, and they're kind of like upscale social workers. So in this case, with this incident, instead of a police showing up to a guy who's drunk in a car, it's kind of like that's not necessary, right? So you get this new division that would have showed up and at least had compassion, like, dude, let me take you home, right? But to your second part, the reason why I'm going here is that cops are trained, it's cliche, to kill. So when we watch movies, right, we see a cop with a gun, right? And we just think he got all this training. My man should be able to turn and shoot your ankle. But in real life, if you ever shot a gun before, you will have to take super training in order to be that accurate to shoot somebody in the leg while they're running. First of all, they're running, so their legs is going like this. You ain't, I don't care, unless you RoboCop, that's not gonna happen. Now, here's the thing. I play video games, and people say, like, Ant, your aim's terrible. Why you don't shoot for the head? Bro, the body is this big. I'm gonna shoot what I can hit. I just think it's one, the cop, his lawyer name is Chris Stewart, and I listened to Chris Stewart talk about what happened, and he said he felt that the cop. They asked him, "What do you think was going through the cop's mind?" He said he felt that the cop was aggravated because they tussled. He fired at him with his own taser, so now you took the cop's weapon and you ran, and he's getting away. So he feels that the cop, out of anger, shot after him. And again, I'm saying real life, bro. You're not shooting somebody in the leg accurately while they're running. That's like not real life. Like no one's like you unless you got a machine gun and you just start hosing down the leg area, So I feel like either A, you were just gonna let him get away because maybe he was so far, I don't know the cop's shape or whatever, they felt they could catch him or not. So I don't know how bad cops get in trouble for coming back to the precinct saying this guy, we had him and he took our taser and fired and got away. So I wonder if that played also in him being that angry and feeling like, I can't let this guy get away, let me shoot him. Now, did he know it was gonna, go ahead.
I think it was more anger for the embarrassment, maybe.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, again, if you go back to it, he ain't getting away. First of all, he probably know where the hell he's going because he's drunk. That's number one.
Right.
You know what I mean? But number two, you have his car is still there with his license plate and with his registration. Right. You have his keys and his ID in your person. You can get him the next day. You're going to get him regardless and stuff like that. So I just don't think, I think it was the anger and embarrassment at that moment. Because if you really thought logically, it could have been a situation. Let's just say if it wasn't a tussle, right? And he started running and you couldn't catch him. Could have just like, you know what? Let him go. We'll get him tomorrow. We know where he at.
Here's what I don't get, right? And why that isn't more a thing, right? For instance, I had your license. I know I had to call it in. I got your vehicle. Like, where is he gonna really go?
Yes,
like,
that's what
I don't know why it turned into shooting at him with a gun. If you shot at me with a taser, right, and you didn't get me, right? I mean, I know it's embarrassing. All I can say is just it had to be the human aspect. It had to be the human in him that was embarrassed, like you said, because unless it's the racist side, I tend to not try to go there yet. But however, when I heard his lawyer say that he kicked him after he shot him,
that's where the racism part comes in.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, to your point, if that situation happened the exact same way, I don't know if it wouldn't have been the same outcome with a white guy instead of a black guy. Right. So to your non-racism point, I do know people like to post videos of some white people doing outrageous things and the cops not shooting them. Right. But I don't think that happens for every white person either. So I don't think every white cop has a natural bias. I can't agree with that.
Yeah, well, I was talking the other day, and I think what I was mentioning, and some people disagreed, but here's my thing, right? This is what we do as a society. In Minnesota, right, and we live in New Jersey, this guy got killed, right? I'm just not putting names on it. I'm just saying, right? Cop kills guy, right? In Georgia, cop kills guy, right? And everybody, like, we almost feel like that happened around the corner from our house. But there's two different incidents, right? So what I'm saying is, if that same cop did such act to multiple races, okay, he's a bad dude. Maybe he's not racist. If that same cop didn't do something to one race, but only do it to that race, now I can say he's racist. But if I say that cop did it in Georgia and that cop did it in there, so they all must be racist, I can't get behind. Because but we often paint those pictures as if,
Yeah, I think it's because of, and it's really never been all. There were some white people who helped runaway slaves, if you really think about it, right? That are not always mentioned. So it's really never been all, but I think it's because a lot of times over the last 400 years, it's been a majority that have been treating us bad. When it comes to different races and how they treat us, and I think George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back, obviously, but it just seems like those stand out more for some reason. And then when you go back to the non-convictions for obvious crimes, that's what make us get more upset. Like even going back to Rodney King in 1991, where that even though without cell phones, they still had it on video. Those 4 cops beat him almost to death, and they got arrested and they got off. You know what I'm saying? And that's what started the LA riots of 1992. So then, fast forward to 2 years later, or no, 3-4 years later, when the evidence is overwhelming that OJ killed his wife, when he gets off, we're celebrating as Black culture only because we feel like you owe us this one, whatnot. The majority, not everybody, but I'm saying, the majority at that time. You were old enough at that time to really be invested in the OJ situation.
I used to have these long talks with my grandma, because my grandma, it was like the biggest thing for her. She used to, she was so happy that he got off.
Right. Literally jumping and dancing and stuff like that. And in all essence, he probably killed those kids, but the district attorneys messed up the case, to be honest with you, or whatever. That's how he got off. So, it's or not those kids, but killed his wife, I should say. So it's just that. So when we see it now, we're more like, it more makes us think it's all white cops. And also, first thing we're thinking is that, well, why did he have to die? And that's the whole thing and whatnot. Even with Rashard Brooks, man, you see his wife, 3 girls, you got 3 kids and whatnot. You're like, in essence, he parked being drunk. That's not a night he should have died.
Yeah, I just feel like it's when you watch these stories, you almost wonder, how did we get from here to here? Like,
right.
That's. Yeah.
He wasn't even drunk driving or out hurting. He literally did the right thing. I'm gonna park my car and sleep it off and whatnot. So I think that's crazy. And I get Wendy's, I guess, but I'm just like, you're open. It's a public parking lot. Why can't his car be parked there? I'm confused about that too. In a certain.
Yeah, but that's different. That's an establishment. So yeah, I mean, you go to a lot of establishments and see a sign up saying this parking space is only for these customers. I mean, I understand that. You see a car out there for so long. I mean, that's just an establishment. It is what it is. If you and I had a business or a gym or something, right? This spots are for our customers. So I mean, I get that. I get why Wendy's would call.
But did they just, and that's the whole thing we don't know part, right? Did they just call, or did they go knock on the window and say, like, sir, you can't be asleep here. You got to move out the way. You know what I mean? We don't know the Wendy's aspect of it and whatnot. Because if not, why not do that before you call the police? Just knock on the window.
I think at the end of the day, I think that doesn't matter, because so here's what's hard. Morally, I feel like dude, go, wake the dude up. But I feel like there's a lot of people that's like, I'm not getting involved. Listen, there's a lot of times where stuff like that turns to a situation and you have the person who was going out there to help be the one getting killed by the person in the car. So it's kind of like, and then the family would be like, what was you thinking? Why you just didn't call the cops?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. It's more on the cops, I think, more than Wendy's.
It's more, it's more on the cops, because when things happen, that's why I said I don't want to look at all cops as bad, because if somebody breaking my house, I'm calling the cops. So I would like
to going back to your training part, let's be clear. It was 2 of y'all, and y'all let him out wrestle y'all and take your taser. Like, I'm good. Huh?
I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, y'all let a drunk dude, as a matter of fact, out wrestle y'all and take your taser from you. Like,
Right.
Then you should be embarrassed. Not enough to kill him, but you should be embarrassed for that situation. That's crazy. But anyway, moving forward.
Hey, real quick though, do you want to just real quick, touch on that you actually mentioned slavery and stuff, and today is Juneteenth.
We should talk about that. I'm so sorry to our audience. Today is Juneteenth, a celebration like any other Juneteenth because of what's been happening over the last month. And as a Black American, it's weird. Of course, I'm upset about what happened, but it is bringing to light things that people didn't know, apparently, And I have a friend, a personal friend, who I mentioned on Food for the Culture. Shouts out to Food for the Culture, another show that I host. But he had no idea. He kept seeing it over the last week. He was like, are they trying to say June 15th? But not like, are they spelling it wrong? What's Juneteenth? He's a Black man.
So here's what's cool. I'm a kid you not. Maybe 2 weeks ago, I was like, what? June what? I had no clue. Like, when has Juneteenth been a thing? Because I'm not living in the United States. I just got dropped off last week.
Bro, you know what? A lot of people didn't know until this year, and it's nothing wrong with not knowing as long as you're able to educate yourself later on. So I'm not going to slight you, just like I didn't do my boy who didn't know either. And the crazy part was he chimed in that he didn't know and stuff like that. And later on, I had to come back and say, listen, bro, I went to the same high school as you, which I did. We went to high school together. They didn't teach this at all in our high school and whatnot. And then Chris, my boy Chris.
Right.
But Chris knew about it. But I said, me and Chris went to the same elementary and middle school. And I said, they definitely didn't teach it there. So I said, for a person not knowledgeable about it, I don't really blame them because how they going to know something that was never taught to them? Now, I've known about it because I'm a historian.
When was it called June? My daughter, right? She's 14. My stepdaughter is 15. And, YouTube, it's like kids get trends, right? So, like, they will come home and be like, oh, I'm buying merch. I'm like, you buying what? Like, merch. I'm like, what? They're like, oh, I get it. You shortened merch to merchandise to merch. I get it. Like, it's trendy, right? So when I heard Juneteenth, I was like, what? And I was like, oh, this must be a trendy thing. Let's take off.
It's been Juneteenth since its inception back in the 1800s. It's always been Juneteenth.
Where was I living at? Like,
I have no idea. Honestly.
And also, I want to ask this: as many friends are living my life, I don't recall any. I never sat in a conversation and heard two people talking about Juneteenth. Never, never, ever.
Yeah, literally. It's funny because literally, you know the show Blackish,
right,
on ABC. Right. Literally, they did a whole episode about it 3 years ago about Juneteenth on ABC, and they both posted it on their Instagram pages today. But I watched that episode 3 years ago, even though I knew what it was and stuff like that.
I never seen the episode, but I
know. But it's always been Juneteenth, and it was a celebration of but it's not your fault. I feel like it's not now, Governor, we can talk about this. Governor Cuomo in New York made it now a state holiday, so every year it'll get off with pay. Certain Target now they get off with pay for Juneteenth and stuff like that. And certain other companies, my old job, they got a half a day today with pay, and we're trying to make it a national holiday. But it's always been around, stuff like that. So
but let me say this though, right? And we can move on. Like, I kid you not, if I went on Facebook. So again, Facebook is a collaboration of the people right? So there's people way out there. If I went on Facebook and I try to pull up every post on June 19th, since I've been on Facebook for about 10 years now, I bet you, I don't know, never heard of it. So I don't understand that.
I feel like it's not. I feel like Black society, we weren't celebrating it as much as we should have over the years. But it's not a new thing. Once you know that, it's always been around, forever and stuff like that. But we weren't celebrating it. And maybe because also they weren't acknowledging it, meaning the powers that be. So we weren't off work before. We wasn't getting extra pay before. So because of that, I feel like we didn't celebrate it as much either, but we probably should have. But the other part is this, man. Before I move on, and I said this on the other show too. I said stuff like Juneteenth, Black Wall Street. When they destroyed Black Wall Street in the 1920s and stuff like that, which was in May and when that was talked about at the end of last month, because Black people did have money, but they came around and burned it down. All this stuff is not taught in the history books in school.
Right.
And we're as Americans, because we live in America, these things happen in America. And we spend time in history class talking about the Mayan civilization and Chinese emperors and all this other stuff and whatnot, which is cool. But these things don't wind up having like relevance in your life, after you
Right.
leave school. Why not talk about things that happen in America, the country you live in, more and stuff like that? So I think that's a problem with education. And my next part, I'm gonna say, and this is weird, but history is a curriculum. They pick and choose what to teach you in history. It's not like math, right, where you need addition, subtraction,
Right.
multiplication, algebra,
Right.
stuff like that. You can make any history curriculum, right?
Yeah.
So why not kind of tailor it towards your subjects? And hear me out. What I mean is that you and I, right, who grew up in Trenton
Right.
and more of an urban, area and stuff like that,
Right.
they should have like a choice for like parents of like the curriculum for the year of what you want your students to learn for history only, I'm saying.
Right.
And where they're at, because maybe somebody who lives in a more of a suburban area, or maybe let's say they live in a what do they call that, like Chinatown or something like that, maybe they might want to have their kids learn more about Chinese emperors or
Right.
the Great Wall of China, but we might want our kids to learn more about Juneteenth and
Yeah.
stuff
My
like that.
my only problem with that is so first of all, you would have to, so that, it is what it is. That division is catered to cultures. And then what happens where you get, I mean, obviously a vote is a vote, so majority rules. So
Right.
I guess it just has to come down to it, because there's always going to be somebody that's going to be left out. Meaning there's going to be somebody in that school district that's going to be like, what are we talking about? But it is what it is, you know.
I just think that my overarching point is some of the stuff we learn in the United States should be more towards United States culture. That's my whole thing.
I agree
Because
on that.
you've been in school, like you're only taking it for one class a day. You know what I mean? For
Right.
so many years. So there's tons of stuff in history we didn't learn going to school. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they can alter the curriculum a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
saying
my
for everybody.
not to get too into this, but history was always my least favorite subject,
Right.
because as I grew up, I realized people take history, not everybody, but a lot of people take history and use it negatively, right? So someone takes something that happened in the past and then hold people against or for it. Like for instance, right? If you're a Black person and you're upset about slavery, right? Somebody else could say, man, Black people were selling people already before that happened. So it's like, I feel like people take a lot of history and sometimes use it negatively, and it bothers me because I feel like listen, we've came this far to 2020 as a culture and a society. As the United States is on muddy waters. All right, it ain't clean. We could go back when I was younger. Did you learn that Christopher Columbus was doing what he was doing? No, but eventually they let you know what was happening, right?
Yeah.
So
He didn't discover anything. Yeah,
right,
gotcha.
but this country, it's like they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So it's just so much behind the scenes bad stuff that happened that I feel like you can't teach history without some people, and I'm just saying in general, taking what they learn and use the negative, because there's always some negative, right? You can't get it. We're human beings. I might do something tonight that I feel tomorrow, wake up tomorrow and be like, man, I shouldn't have did that. So it was bad, right? But people are going to take and pick the bad things out of it and utilize that kind of like a weapon or a talking point, and that bothers me. But
Yeah, I
I
agree with
guess
that.
you can't help it, you know.
Yeah, my only thing I'll let it go is that Black History, we get a month, February, and
Mhm.
that's the month where teachers in school decide to teach about, Black historians and stuff like
Right.
that. I just feel like it should be more than that, a little bit. That's my whole thing
Yeah.
about that. Moving forward, though, but yeah, happy Juneteenth to you and to
Thank you.
everybody else out there and stuff like that. Um, moving forward, you know, if I keep it on the low before we move it on the high,
All
talk
right.
about the COVID spikes that after 18 states reopening, they're starting to see spikes in Florida, record-breaking strikes daily right now.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts is you can't help it. That's gonna happen. Like if you have this thing, it's like people don't like to take their kid to daycare because they know their kids are gonna get sick. You take your kids to drop off daycare, chances are in that month your kid probably got sick 8 times. Like it's just so it makes sense, right? It's an infection that's contagious. The word contagious means you can get it, right? COVID-19 is contagious. However, I'm glad you mentioned Florida because I watched or listened to on the governor actually say they asked him about it, and he said, "Listen, we are not backing down. We don't plan on backstepping, and because Las Vegas actually they had spikes, and they're trying to decide should they back down as well. And I can't remember the state, but they actually said,
Arizona,
huh?
Arizona, the other one.
No, but it's another state that actually said they're gonna. They was about to do their phase 2, and they said we're gonna wait a week. Now they're putting on a hold. However, Florida thing was this. It's kind of something I said a while ago. This disease fatally affects a certain group of people. For the most part, to be honest, people don't like to hear it, but it is what it is. And so the governor said, we're not going to step down, but we're going to try as best as we can, because we could bring up the bar next, to make sure everyone is sanitizing when they should. Everyone is wearing masks, and you can't come in places without the mask. They're going to try as hard as they can to step that up. But he also said, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but he also said, but we're going to do a better job at protecting the people who are more at risk by the disease. And so at risk, that means many people may go into the bar and leave, right? Like the story was a group of 15 people went to this bar. All of them contracted the virus, and they all was in quarantine. The first thing they did after quarantine was they all went to this bar. That's the only thing they had in common. I watched it on the news. So they had to be the bar, right? It was a pub. So, but those people had to be quarantined, and they're going to be fine, right? But the elderly person going there, or somebody with underlying conditions, it's more scary for them, right? So the governor was saying, we're going to do a better job at protecting the people who it severely affects. So what do you have to say about that?
I felt bad for them because they said they all were like super quarantining for the whole time, and then the first thing they try to do, they all got
right.
The disease and stuff like that. I felt like they also say, here's the thing mentally, which is crazy. With the openings happening, you do want to still be careful, follow the restrictions, 6 feet apart, wear your mask, blah, blah, blah. But I think sometimes mentally, especially because you've been in the house for so long, you look at it almost like, you know what, it's over when you get out, right? So they're probably at this bar, 15 friends, throwing darts, taking shots, having a good time and stuff like that, whatever, you know what I mean? And the one girl said it like, we were just loosey-goosey or whatever like that. So it's almost like the opening to people means no more corona.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I think what means no more corona is probably 2 weeks ago, thousands of people running around outside as if there was no corona. So that probably did a bad job at the country whose people are sitting in the house afraid to go out. And for the last, like, how many weeks we were watching on TV, thousands of people statewide, right? I ain't talking about just in my state. Like, we watching thousands of people just running around, no mask, side to side. And so we don't even got to get into what they was doing, because we all know the rioting and stuff. But I think that made people be like if you was on the fence like me, right, and you're watching this, you're like, man, these people are just going to give it to everybody. What's even the point anymore? But I will say this. So we could jump into this next. I did go to Delaware last weekend, and they actually said on Monday, which was last Monday, they were going into the next phase. And you know what was shocking to me, because I hear you on the whole mask, because maybe Florida did this already. They actually said starting Monday, they was getting rid of the 6 feet thing. I was like, oh,
Well, I mean, with Delaware though, it's a difference. You know what I
got
mean?
a lot less cases.
A lot less case, but a lot less people per square mile in general. Delaware and New Jersey are almost the same size, square footage wise. We're a little bigger, but we probably have 8 million more people, right? So we're just like a compact state and stuff like that.
Right.
So with Delaware, they only have 10,000 cases, bro. We got like over 160. You know what I mean?
Right.
They have, I think, less than 300 deaths. You know what I mean?
Right.
This whole time period. So there, but to your point, that's also a problem because you're watching Georgia, Delaware, wherever other states opening and having a good time and stuff like
Right.
that. And when you see it, you're like, well, we should be able to go out and do the same thing and whatnot. So
Well, here's
I
the
think
issue. Here's the issue. Um, Two things. Only essential workers, right? Right. Only essential stores was open. We've done everybody done went to Walmart and seen people buying TVs, buying stuff that's not essential. And Walmart, like they've been doing a good job when I go there, but it's still a massive amount of people walking right next to you. So we want to get into if you cough, is it in the air? Yeah, I got my mask, but technically the makeshift mask don't only protect you but so far. So I feel like, dude, I know if you go to Walmart, like, all right, it's a better example. Real life statistics. Amazon, a friend of mine's, personal friend of mine's, shout out to All Purpose Champion Crew. Those guys I stream with, I won't say who, but he got it from working at his job, Amazon.
I
And
remember, yeah.
Amazon cases are going crazy, right? Another friend, my friend Lisa, and she put off going back to work. She literally, her own money, not getting paid, said, I'm just going to take off because she had a baby in November. Her maternity leave was coming up. She said, I'm not going back to work. I'm going to wait till the kids are out of school. I'm not even going to get paid and wait because I work at Amazon and cases are crazy. So, people are still going to work every day to Amazon, even hearing that. So I feel like they come home to their families and they get up and go to work the next day where they're having 28 cases in 1 month, but they're still alive and ticking. So I feel like it's so much stuff to uncover, like going to Walmart on a weekly basis or whenever you go and you walk in past people. I mean,
Here's always been the issue though, bro. It's two issues, same thing. Even if you get it and you live, if you get it, you have to quarantine 14 days.
correct.
If you have to quarantine 14 days, depending on your lifestyle, that could be detrimental to your lifestyle. If you can't go to work, if you can't take your kid to his doctor's appointment or her doctor's appointment and nobody's there to help you, all these other things can really like hurt you as an individual if you can't leave your house for 14 days. That's number one, even if you live. The other part is what Arizona's saying right now. They opened up, cases are going crazy, and now they're worried they're about to run out of hospital room again. And that's always been the issue. It's always about those hospital beds at the end of the day and stuff
Right.
like that. Because for the people who do survive it, but needed to go to the hospital to survive it, there's not any beds there. That's a problem.
Right.
Also, if they're taking up beds that somebody who got shot needs, or somebody who, you know, had a stroke needs and stuff like that,
Right.
or whatever. So that's always the issue. In Florida, I hear what he's saying, but I wonder what his tune change if the hospitalizations go up. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
remember, Scott, I want to read that too. Speaking of that, so remember, a friend of mine's put the post on Facebook and about the percentages, right?
yeah,
So he said these uh, there's spikes in cases because people are going back to work, which makes sense. And he
which makes
said,
sense.
and people are being tested, right?
Right.
So they're going back to work to being tested. He said, however, numbers of hospitalizations are down by 48% and ventilator use is down by 56%. So if we look at percentages, right? So we know that people were healthy or can contract it, right? However, it isn't harming them, right? So you got to take 14 days. So if you do the percentages and you say the percent of ventilator use and beds are down by so much, right? I'm not saying this to be kind of messed up, but they have some space now if cases was to start to go up.
Not in Arizona, apparently. They're about to run out soon. So it depends on the state, stuff like
Right.
that, or whatever. So I mean, every state should maybe act accordingly. But then again, you get that jealousy of like, well, they're open over here, Why can't I be open and stuff?
Listen, that's what the governor got to get involved for. So that's on that whoever the governor of that state.
Like I know people who from here who went to visit family in South Carolina, but they really went because they like wanted to get their nails and hair done, and they're open and we're not. And they're like, I'm tired of me looking.
We could segue into me because a week ago I decided to go to Delaware for the weekend for my 5-year anniversary.
Right.
Before COVID, we planned on going. We was either going to go to Arizona or Las Vegas. Every year we go somewhere. We like to go to a different state, but we want to say, let's do it big. Don't drive somewhere, fly, right? Somewhere far. COVID happened. What are we going to do? We want to live. We want to do something. So we figured, well, Delaware is the closest state to us that actually opened up a lot. So what we do, we go to Delaware so we could actually, we went to the movies. We went to a bunch of restaurants where we ate inside the restaurant. We went to a park. I know parks are open here. We went to the beach. I know beaches are open here. What else we did? We did something else, that we can't do. But we was so quote unquote living it up.
Right. But talk about it. Like, how was it? How was the place?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I feel like we could do it here, there now, because we went to restaurants and so one restaurant, they didn't allow us to touch menus. They said you had to take a picture of the menu. So therefore, we're not touching something they touch, right? Like a menu where a lot of people will touch, right? So we can't touch the menus. The guy, when we walked in, he said, hey, I need to take your temperature. He had the thing he put to our foreheads and it took your temperature. You can see it in everything. If you're over 100, you can't come in. Then you had to sign a waiver saying that in the last 2 weeks, I wasn't around somebody who had COVID. Excuse me, to my knowledge, the last 2 weeks, I didn't get on a plane. You had to fill all this stuff out. And then you was able to be seated and you was, and there you go. Now, granted, when we walked in, we were the only people in there and then other people start to come in. So it was a low amount of people. But we talked to the guy who owned the place and and his son, who was the waiter. And they said, man, they're doing worse now than when they was doing curbside pickup. Because now that they opened up dining indoors, that there's more competition. So people want to go sit down and eat. So people have more options and they're not like, oh, let me just go to my favorite restaurant and go a curbside pickup. Let me just explore.
So you dine in the restaurant or outside the restaurant?
Inside.
How many? I mean, so they kept you all apart, you saying?
Yeah, we were way you'll see it. We were when I make the video. Sorry guys, but I wish I had the video. I could have put in a link, but I will eventually. But yeah, we were way away. Like our table was like here, and the other table was way away from us. So and even in the mall just reminds you of Walmart. If you've been in Walmart, the mall was kind of like that. People were scattered. People had masks on. Wait till you see the video, dude. It was like
what's interesting, bro, about the malls and stuff like that. Like, besides like Christmas time and maybe on some certain weekends, people normally scatter anyway in the malls. You know what I mean? It's never, you know what I mean? Like, you've ever been to the mall on like a weeknight? It's never like, you know what I mean? Like a huge crowd or something like that.
People are just walking around. Like nobody, even in New Jersey, nobody want to be all up on you. Like that's not our thing in our tri-state area.
No,
we're not that friendly,
No, we're not.
You walking in front of me, I'm moving that way. But the malls was lines. I mean, they had people lines to get in some stores because they was taking it serious. They had a capacity. So you had lines to get into a store because they had a thing. Oh, you guys got to wait and you got to be so far away from each other. And then now we let the one person left. Now you could come in. And people was in these long lines just to get into their store of choice. I'm trying to think what else.
So basically being down there for the weekend, it felt almost like normalcy for you guys again.
It did. I mean, it did. It was kind of like, yeah, man. I mean, we went to restaurants we wanted to go to. I mean, we went to a restaurant. Then we was like, they had a downtown park. We was walking down the street. People was walking. I mean, granted, it wasn't crowded. So I'm not saying it was crowded, but you was living life. You were outside living life. We went to like this late night store, Insomnia cookies.
Yeah, I love that. I love that place, bro.
Yeah, they couldn't make cookies because their oven broke the night before, but we had ice cream. We was going to get ice cream anyway. We literally was able to live and do the things we like to do. I mean, we went to the
Right.
movie theaters, you know, to sit in the movies again and watch a movie was really cool. But I can't say how they was gonna do it because we were the only people in the theater. But when you came up to the lady at the counter, she had the glass thing in front of her, you know.
Yeah.
So
So let's segue that. Perfect
right.
segue. You're becoming the segue prince a little bit. but let's segue that to the movie's opening. You know, some good news, stuff like that. So for us, if people don't know, we're huge movie. We should know. We have reviews on this
Right.
channel, stuff like that. However, we're huge moviegoers. Even have been together before, so once. But movie theaters will be opening next month. I think AMC is now July 15th,
Okay.
Regal's July 10th, and
Yep.
stuff like that. So they will be opening with some big movies coming out. We don't got to talk about those, but the fact that the movie theater is opening is good news for us
Yeah.
and stuff. Um, and AMC, for example, they decided to make masks mandatory. I'm sorry, not mandatory
Right.
for their opening. And then a few hours later, as we
Few
were
hours
talking about
later.
it, they decided, after backlash and getting criticized, they decided to make it mandatory. Now, what's interesting about that is they made it non-mandatory, but they literally said in their statement, we're making it non-mandatory. We don't want to get the political backlash. But then they got the political backlash anyway.
Right.
Which is
You know what the thing is? I feel like because COVID, because of what's going on, it just makes sense to make it mandatory. Why would you say you don't have to go to a movie theater and not wear masks? Like you're asking for trouble, man.
Yeah, and if you were going to say that, give a better reason. We want our patrons to be comfortable, whatever. Don't literally say I'm only saying this because I don't want to get political backlash or something
Yeah,
like that.
bad,
You know,
bad,
you
bad.
know, yeah, that's just bad PR. You know what I'm saying? But reading through what they got going on and Regal, it's a lot of good things. Like you said, you had the lady at Delaware, but you know, I seen at Regal, pretty much it's going to be you can like order your food now on your phone and
Right,
just get it when you get there. And I
right.
think that's excellent. Even without COVID, I think you should
Listen,
be able to do that. Stuff like
like the
that.
driving. That's what the drivers are doing.
Yeah, yeah. So I think if this goes away, I think they should keep that forever. Because I would love to already order my popcorn and walk up and pick it up and keep it moving and stuff like that,
Right.
or whatever it is and stuff. Um, but you know, I think they're going to have less seating, of course, depending on the state rules.
Yeah.
They said they'll have sanitizer everywhere, and a lot of different, you know, different things to stay safe. How do you feel about all that stuff?
You know me, man. I'm definitely on the push for I want more things to open. So I'm looking forward to it. I want people to what I want is the guidelines, right? I want them to just stick to guidelines. I can't make up the guidelines, but I think the 6 feet apart thing made sense. I get that as things open up more, they're gonna get rid of that. Like I was shocked when Delaware said it was getting rid of it, but I want the movie theaters to, you know, have masks. I want the movie theaters to make sure you know, they're after a movie ends, every seat has to be wiped down. I
I
don't
said that
care
too.
if you
Every
go sit
seat for
right,
20
and
minutes or
I don't
more.
care if you go sit in your seat because there's gonna be some people. My seat's kind of damp. They just cleaned it, man. Like, come on. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but as long as they keep cleaning and everything, I think it's a good thing. Am I as worried? Not really, but I feel like we need this. First of all, if the movies don't make money, nobody's going, right? So we need them to do things to make people feel comfortable. And on top of that, we have to protect people by cleaning and sanitizing because again, this is a virus that's contagious and you're gonna get it if you touch things. It is what it is.
Right, right. Um, and let me just know for me personally. So I have a distinct advantage, people, because I live so close to the movie theater,
Right.
which is kind of helps me out a little bit. So for me, just to kind of stay away from people because it's more about people than anything. You know, this virus, I'm saying, and
Right.
contacting it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can. I live so. I walk past the movie theater every day. That's how close I live to it. So I walk. I mean, literally on my walks past it every day. So I can pick and choose the times I go, to where I feel like there's less people or more people to make myself feel safer. So for you, like, that's kind of my plan,
Right.
when I go. So I'll go on a Wednesday night at 11 because I can just get out and walk across the street to my house and stuff like that,
Right.
when it's maybe nobody in it. Like, I've been to the movies before all this and sat in a theater by myself several times,
Okay.
stuff like that, because of different times that I
Yeah.
would go. So I'm able to kind of strategic, and I won't buy any concessions regardless, and I still wear my mask, and I'll just go in and watch the movie. Actually, same thing I did. The last movie we saw was that Vin Diesel one. I forget what it
Yeah.
was called.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. I did that then. I didn't wear. I didn't. I went at a crazy time. I didn't buy anything to get because I was super nervous back in March or whatever, and I was in the theater by myself. I sat in the corner, watched the movie, walked out. That's what I'll do until things, get back to normal a little bit.
I
So
mean, that's smart. You know.
yeah,
And
I feel more.
again, and if the movie theater uphold their part, and you know that when you sat down, that chair was wiped down, there you go.
Yeah, it's a win-win for me. Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly. At least at least for now, I'll play those kind of strategic games a little bit to where I can look at the parking lot, see how many people are in there from my house. So I'll
Right.
play those little games and stuff like that of how I will go. But speaking of movies, on to one of our next things is interesting thing about movies. So we're both big movie heads, and we talk about Star Wars a lot,
Right.
especially in our group chat, stuff like that. Even though Anthony is not as much of a fan as he used to be
Anymore. Yeah.
anymore, stuff like that. But I guess you were so you were a Star Trek fan too. I guess I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. I used to like Star Trek too. I used to watch Enterprise, and I used to watch Star Trek from back in the day, and like Picard. Like I used to be a Star Trek fan, and I actually was into the new movie, but I don't watch movies without my wife, so it's kind of weird. So I watched those before we got together, and then when it came out to part two, she wasn't interested in it. So I literally I put them on hold and haven't watched the newer ones yet. I watched the very
Really?
first one. Yeah, the very first one, but I didn't
Oh
watch. Yeah,
man, you got to watch the second one. That's the
heard it.
best
I
one.
heard it was good. Heard it was
It's
good.
really good.
Yeah,
It's dope,
yeah.
definitely. Benedict Cumberbatch is in that. Dude who plays Doctor Strange, actually, he's
Right.
really, really good though. So, but so the question is, what's more iconic, the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, which
Yep.
was piloted by Han Solo, famously, or the Starship Enterprise? I'll let you go on that.
Right. So
It's funny.
when I seen, I don't even know what made me think of this topic. I seen something. Maybe it must have been like back to back. I seen something of Star Wars, and I seen the Enterprise, and this is going to be my answer. It took me a while to remember what the ship was called. The Millennium Falcon never leaves my head. I was like,
Yes.
Dad, what is the Star Trek ship called? It was driving me crazy, and I was like, oh. So for me, being that I was a fan of that and a fan of Star Wars, but I think the Millennium Falcon, first of all, because the Millennium Falcon is smaller, its crew is smaller. You could recite Han Solo and Chewbacca, like
Yes.
and but when you think of the Starship Enterprise, you have to start thinking like, okay, well, who flew it?
Right.
Okay, well, which time, which
Right.
generation,
Right.
yeah, I used to watch Generations also, but
Here is
Oh, wow.
information from careerplanner.com.
and my phone is going off, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Millennium Falcon.
And I am going to agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's. I mean, and I think also because they brought it back for the newer Star Wars.
Right.
And I think she's still flying it now. Yeah, Rey's still flying it now when it went off and stuff like that. So I think it's. I mean, they both have longevity,
Right.
but I think the Enterprise ship is more they're redoing it than kind of like, it's ongoing. Because like the newer Star Treks was still the same Captain Kirk.
Right.
It was just them, redoing what we already saw back in the day and whatnot.
Right.
where like the Star Wars is
It's
ongoing, continuous and stuff like
right,
that. So because it was Han Solo who flew it, now Rey's flying it and stuff
right.
like that. So I feel like that I'm gonna go with the Millennium Falcon for that reason, because it's iconic, but it keeps going through different generations and stuff like
I
that.
agree.
So.
Now, also, this is what I want to add because, guys, we love it. So comment, please let us know your thoughts, right? Any of these subjects and topics we hit, and whatever you think, if you disagree, agree, you want to add feedback, please put it in the comments below because we will write back and you guys will be able to see our comments and you'll be able to write back to us. So you tell us what you think is more iconic of a ship as well.
All right, and moving forward, let's let you vent a little bit about the PS5 reveal and whatnot. So.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to vent. I think it was cool. I
Okay.
wasn't one of the gamers that was like it looked like a router. That's what a lot of people are saying. But it got a pretty well reception actually. The majority of the people I know that are gamers actually liked what it looked like. Our only issue is the fact that they said it was going to be two versions, a disc only version and a non-disc version. And the rumors is that one is going to have again, rumors. One is going to have a 2 terabyte SSD drive, which goes for about $250 if you want to put that in your computer alone. So what we think is one system is going to be pretty hefty in price. Some people think it's only going to be a difference in $50 in price, but we have to remember the PlayStation 4 Pro that's out right now doesn't even have a 4K Blu-ray player, right? So if you went to buy a 4K Blu-ray player, I believe you could probably get one for like $60 now, but that's still extra money that's going to be in the one that has a disc drive, because one is going to be only digital. There's going to be no place for you to put disc in. You're going to have to just download everything to it, right? And I'm a guy who loves to download. Like I download everything. I never buy physical copies anymore. But I think it looked good. I think it's ruffling the Xbox Series X feathers. What Sony showed off looked pretty good. Their games look pretty good, and I'm really excited for this game war. This game war is going good, and so I don't have to. I have nothing to vent on. I liked it.
Is that a PS4 controller behind you?
Right here.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, you might hate this, but this is a Google Stadia controller.
Oh wow.
I just ordered another one. I'm a big fan. I actually mentioned that of technology, and I feel like the future of gaming is cloud. And so personally, this probably should be one of the questions, but this is probably the first time in my life I'm not gonna buy the new system on release day, because I love Stadia so much that I feel like it's going to allow me to play the same games that was going to be on the new console, but not spend money on a console. So while everybody's wondering, oh, is the PlayStation going to be 400? Is it going to be 500? Is it going to be 600? Is it going to be more? I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm a Sony fan, but I like cloud gaming. I'm going to sit back in my chair and watch the dust settle between Xbox and PlayStation as I'm still playing my Stadia, but make no mistake, I got a PlayStation controller right here, so I'm still a fan. But I feel like at the end of the day, I also got an Xbox controller too. So
wow.
At the end of the day, if I'm in it, I'm a gamer. I have my preferences, but I play them all. So that way, when people get into little squabbles, dude, I hear you out. But at the end of the day, I'm a gamer. I like everything. So
You play all your games in the bedroom?
A lot now I do, man. Like so here's the thing. This is what I call when you're into cloud gaming, I'm telling you, I'm gonna coin this phrase. Hopefully it gets big. We're limitless gamers. That's what I really think about. My friends was on my podcast I do, the Mighty Jade Empire, and they was all going against me. Oh, cloud gaming is dumb. The internet isn't sufficient, so it doesn't make sense to have something that's only internet based, this and that, right? But we all watch Netflix, and if your internet went out, I mean, Netflix is streaming, right? Yeah. But we live on it, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I feel like people who have consoles, don't take this wrong, guys, because I still have a console, I have them all, but you're limited. So I feel like you're limited gamers. Like I literally sit in my bed and I could be on my phone, right, with any controller, even a keyboard with Stadia, and playing, right? And then I could literally say, pause it, put my phone down, go on my laptop, and what I was doing there would switch to my laptop without missing a beat. Then I could walk in my living room and leave my laptop here. So you know what? I'd rather play on my TV and switch it there. It's like Netflix. You could be watching a movie on your phone in the car on Netflix, get home, say, you know what? I want to play it on the laptop. I want to play it on my TV. So I feel like that's limitless gaming, you know? But back to the
pretty dope to me.
Huh?
Sounds pretty dope to me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I get people don't like it because technically, yeah, what it's doing is rivaling against consoles. These big companies that's gonna make these consoles, they don't make much money off the consoles. Sometimes they don't make any money off the consoles, but they make money off the games, right? So I get it. If people start getting into this, then what they're gonna do, stop buying consoles. And so therefore, if they stop buying consoles, then people might migrate from not getting that system to this. So it is a threat to gamers. Gamers who love consoles, it is a threat. But this is where it's going. I mean, people, remember, the video game industry is bigger than the movie industry. That's almost hard to fathom, right? Because you figure like not everybody's into games. People are spending not a millions, right? Not an M, but billions of dollars. Google spent billions of dollars on this tech.
Here's my question though. How do you save the game if you're playing on your phone?
It's amazing. It's in the cloud. Nothing. So think about it. When you watch a movie on your phone, right? And like even WWE Network, right? I save a movie when I open my phone back up, or not everybody open their phone, but when I go to watch my phone again, it saves where I'm at. Well, how does it save that if it didn't download to my phone? Everything's in the cloud. Like, all right, perfect example. I had an issue last night. I bought a game. Me and my wife been playing The Last of Us, and we wanted to beat it before the new one came out. We beat it with 1 hour left to go, right? Nowadays, you buy a game, you got to download it, install it. Even if you put the disc in your system, it has to install to your system. The Last of Us was 72 gigs. How fast you think that's going to install? Dude, it took at least 40 minutes. So I'm like, we want to play it at midnight, but I got to install it. Then I was having issues with Comcast. I had to call Comcast. In the end, I didn't realize I didn't click on download. So when I got off the phone with Comcast, it was like 12:30. We went to play a game. The game never downloaded. I'm like, what? So we had to wait 40 minutes. Now, I showed this on my video on my channel. You know what happens with Google Stadia? What happens with Netflix? You go to play a Netflix movie. Do you wait for it to download? You press play. You open it up and press. So imagine that you could play a video game and it didn't take 40, 30, 15 minutes to install and download. And check this out. First of all, when I was downloading my game, I had to make sure I had enough space. Because now, like my one boy, when we play on Wednesdays, he always got to delete something to download something else. Like, bro, you killing me. Just buy external hard drive. But then last week, my external hard drive was full and I didn't even realize it. And then I'm like, and they're like, bro, now we waiting on you to play. I'm like, but cloud gaming is limitless. There's no space. It's in the cloud. There is no, you could have a billion games. Anyway, sorry I went on that was my rant, I guess. I went into.
It's cool. So we just added cloud gaming to the topic too, but it was cool.
Exactly. Yeah, sorry about that.
Nothing wrong with that. And one last thing, a little off the cuff, I want to talk about here. A little versus. So, and I don't know about you, but I think I might know where you're gonna go with this. So if you had to make a choice, and we want your comments too, would you rather do online shopping or in-store shopping?
I'm still an in-store shopper. Like,
wow.
I order a lot of stuff off Amazon, but I order stuff that I don't really need to, like, okay, so I'm what's called a destination shopper. So when I used to do sales, I learned the different shoppers. I'm a destination shopper. I already know I'm buying this. I know what it looked like. I get an idea of it and I want it. So I ordered that offline. But if I want a shirt, I can't judge a picture online. I'd rather go buy a TV. I'd rather go into the store. I'd rather look at the picture. I'd rather look at the specs. I want to look at the other one. Like, yeah, I went there to get a specific thing, but now I want to see the differences. So yeah, I'm I'm not there yet with online shopping. Again, Amazon comes to my house so often, but that's for specific niche things. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay. You know what? Because you're so into technology,
Right.
I totally was wrong on that for you
Right.
or whatever. That's interesting. But for me, I'm opposite. I'm online all the way, bro. If I
Wow.
never
Okay.
got to leave my house again to go to a store,
Yeah.
I buy water online, bro. Like that's how much online shopping I do. I remember one time I did my entire Christmas online shopping for my kids, for
Right.
everybody, my parents, whoever. I even have Amazon gift wrapping for me if I need to. Like I'm
Oh
a
wow.
super,
Okay.
yeah. If you pay $2, they'll send it wrapped or whatnot, whatever.
Oh,
So,
that ain't bad at
um,
all.
no, not bad. What? Not bad at
So
all.
you go to the
Saving
mall, they trying to get you for them presents.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I'm a super like it's packages at my house almost every single day,
Okay.
bro. Like, and as soon as I'm like, inconvenienced by something, that's the best thing that can be made with Amazon Prime. I will go on Prime. I'll buy a comb online. Like that's not like it's so bad
Wow.
for me, bro. Like, yeah, I just I don't
Now,
mind. I've learned to not mind waiting for the day or two for the shipping. That's
right.
already embedded in my mind.
Right.
But if I need it, I will order it right away. Even down to this, before I let you go. When my son was born, he'll be 6 this year, bro. I bought all his Pampers and formula online. Like I never bought it in the store. I had it shipped to my house every month, stuff like that. Go
Now
ahead,
let
yeah,
me ask
go
you this. So, I do buy a lot of stuff online, which is cool. And Sandy's big into online shopping as well. But I think the question was your preference. So my preference I would like to go and see it. But how often? Like, what do you do when you have an issue? What do you do when you get something that I mean, I've had this happen to me, so I know what your answer is probably gonna be. But that's what that's the give and take. If you order something offline, they could potentially mess up a size. They could potentially, something don't work, something isn't what it was, something isn't advertised and does what they said it was, and then you just easily send it back, right?
It depends on what it is, honestly. Like I don't if it's something that costs me, I don't know, $10 or less, honestly, the hassle just to go to the UPS
Right.
and put it in the box, I'll just eat it or give it to somebody else and
Okay.
whatnot. If it's a bigger item, I will, do the legwork. But that also depends where you order from. So I try to keep it Amazon because they have a much easier return packaging and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I do notice other places can mess up for you, like Walmart in particular.
Right.
Thing about Walmart is that if you order from Walmart, um, thing about them is that if they don't have it, they'll send you a like item and whatnot. And which sucks because it can be totally different than what you actually
Right.
wanted and stuff like that. And their return policy is almost like it's it doesn't make any sense because why would I go to UPS when I can walk to your store? But now if I'm going to your store, I wasted my whole online for no reason in the first place and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
that is kind of that does defeats the purpose.
it defeats the purpose. But also, again, why would I go to UPS, send it back to you when I could have walked into your customer service? And you
Right.
know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense either. So ordering for Walmart, I'll say is a gamble because Amazon, oh, first of all, you'll know if they have it right away, right? Either they got it or they don't. And when you order it, they give it to you. For them, it's very rare they mess up. But I don't like the whole. Well, we didn't have. I remember I ordered freaking I think it was like butterscotch crimpets from Walmart, right? And they didn't have it, so they gave me like crumb cake. I'm like, how is it similar? It's not.
Butterscotch that is my ultimate favorite. That's my favorite.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's nowhere near the same thing, or whatever. So stuff like that, can bother you. So, but overall, I prefer shopping online. So it's so bad, bro. My family now calls me to order stuff for them on a regular basis and stuff like
Gotcha.
that. Like I'm just the online guy. Like if I got it for you, I likely got it online. Like I don't try on shoes. I don't try on clothes like you're talking about.
Okay.
Like everything I order is I mean everything I get
Yeah, I
is
would.
pretty
So
much online.
clothes, I would be scared of. That's what
Yeah,
I.
no, no, no. All my clothes, man,
Right.
I get online too. I don't think I've bought nothing in a store maybe in years, bro.
Right.
Like it's just different for me. So no, to answer your question, I prefer online overall.
It's cool. Wow. And you know what's funny? I wouldn't have picked you for that.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I guess if I paid attention, I should. But I feel
yeah.
like I would have only been thinking of you because of COVID, because you know, don't want to leave your house. But
Oh no, 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 no. Even before that, I was always an online person. I don't. I mean, now I will say there is that blissful feeling that you get sometimes when you leave the mall with some bags and you might have found something that you didn't know was there. That's a feeling
right,
you can't replicate. I will
yeah,
agree with that, but I prefer online stuff
yeah.
like
If
that.
you ever went with me to the dollar store, and almost every time I go to the dollar store with my wife, I'm like, here we go. I'm going with her, and I'm always walking out spending $15, and I got all
Yeah,
this stuff because you just see stuff and you're like, oh, I mean,
yeah. I also think you spend more in the store though too because of that
definitely,
situation.
because again, you're a destination shopper online. You went to buy something, you typed it up, so all those things are going to be there. You pick what you want, you put it in your cart, and you buy it. When you go to the store, it's just stuff that you didn't even think about is in front of you. You know?
Right. You're walking by it and it just even grocery shopping, grocery stores have all types of stuff in there. And they got radios and TVs at grocery stores and all types of stuff or
Right.
whatever like that. So you wind up seeing stuff and it's just like I did not come here for this. So I think that's another reason why I prefer kind of online as well. So yeah, I thought it was a good question because and it's good. We have opposing thoughts on the whole thing
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So and you should ask that question to some people that you know too. I think it's a good question and whatnot. But anything? Oh, you want to talk about contact tracing too? I know what you want to talk about that. So
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up because it's interesting. What was cool was I wanted to bring that up because somebody said to me before I got my job back was, why don't you try to be a contact tracer? Because they're hiring right now $25 an hour, and New Jersey need 1,000 more contact tracers. This was probably 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But at the time I was comfortable just sitting at home doing nothing, getting unemployment. So I just heard on the radio today that Germany is really doing great with their contact tracers, and that's really, their cases are getting really low, and they're saying it's due to their contact tracers. For every 1,000 people, let me get this right. This was today that they have one contact tracer, and so they're all day they're calling people who was known that had COVID, and they need to go through a list of when you got it, before you had it, who you were with, and they're trying to figure out, I need a name, number. If you can't give it to me, I'm searching for it, and I'm calling these people to let them know someone you was with had COVID. Now I need to know who you were with, this and that. And it's interesting. It's I just thought it was interesting to talk about. It takes 15 hours training though, so you got to train for 15 hours, and then you could be a contact tracer. Um,
oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
no, and I feel like for people, like someone mentioned it to me, they said you'll probably be good at it. You love people. I think right now it's a new job that wasn't here 5 months ago, and I think it's a job that's going to be here for some time to go. You know,
I think so too. I mean, hopefully not for forever, man.
I agree.
I do. I'm ultimately, man. I just think that one thing I did want to discuss right now. Life is very interesting
Right,
because we're opening, but we're not open. So it's a weird kind of place we're in. I
right,
think as a society, especially I want to say like in New Jersey, stuff like that, because everywhere's not open, and that's places are open with restrictions.
right,
So it's kind of hard. Like, you know, the restaurants have outside dining, but you don't know which one has it and which one don't.
right.
And a lot of them didn't change their website because that costs a lot of money to add
Yep.
that to it. So you got to call around and who has that and stuff like that. So
No,
it's
so to your point, this happened to me on Tuesday. My daughter graduated, and I usually whenever the kids graduate, I take them out to eat dinner. It was the craziest feeling that graduation was over, and they had to drive around the parking lot as the teachers waved. That was their graduation, and she was like, "Man, could we go out to eat somewhere?" I said, "Where are we going out to eat?" So she
right.
literally was like, "Well, could we go to Sonic? Because you could pull up in Sonic." And she was going with her grandma. Her grandma was like, "It's gonna be crowded. Everybody's gonna be at Sonic. We'll just go another day." Like, it's crazy. But to your point, I feel like, do you feel like we're settling? Meaning that we're just opening anyway because it's like, listen, this is just a new life. We're living with COVID. We're settling to live with COVID instead of backing up and just say, look, we're gonna quarantine for so long that the number is going to rapidly drop and stay
I
low.
kind of do because, and in some aspects, it's good to be able to still go to a place or two. But in some aspects, you know, like I said, it's kind of weird to live this way because, like you said, you couldn't just go to a random place for a graduation. Um, Someone was going somewhere last week, and then the person canceled last minute and whatnot. I'm not canceled, but it said, well, you know, I can't go, I can't make it there. How about somewhere else or whatever they were telling me. But it's like, you can't just cancel stuff because I probably had to spend hours trying to find this place, see if it was open or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very not
Yeah.
feasible
Well,
to live right now a little bit.
yeah, look
Stuff
at
like
it this way. My cousin was supposed to get married on May 16th. When it was
Right.
leading up to this, she was like, "Oh, I'm still getting married." I said, "Oh no, this thing looking kind of crazy." In the end, she postponed her wedding. She's getting married tomorrow, and guess where she's getting married? At her parents' house.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like we're settling because we just want, you know, grasping at straws, trying to find
Yes.
something that'll let us get out and whatnot, you
Yeah,
know. So
something
it's
to let
tough.
us feel like we're normal again.
And the scary part is that if it leads to a second wave, will things be worse in the wintertime or fall and
Right.
stuff like that, which is also the thing they're talking about. But also, like what am I gonna say? Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just feel like that it's a lot harder right now because, like I said, we're opening, but we're not open all the way. So,
Right.
oh, my barbershop, I wanted to say. So, yeah, so Jazz is opening next week, the barbershop. Shouts out to Jazz. John has an appointment next Friday. So, with Jazz is doing that, he's gonna so in order to keep the traffic down inside the place, he's going to now give you a guaranteed appointment time. Like before, you had appointment time, but if you came and hung out, or if he took a little long, you were just there. Now he's going to kind of guarantee this is your time. But in order to do that and not lose money, what he's going to do now, he's increasing his prices. So he's going to charge you 20 up front on the Cash App, and then 20 when you get your haircut. Therefore, if you cancel and he missed that whole slot because you canceled last minute, he still made that 20 at least that he got from the Cash App or whatever. Which which makes sense and
Right.
stuff like that from that aspect. So that's one thing he is doing. Just that alone will make it safer by making sure it's not five people waiting for you at the same time. By kind of
Right.
guarantee, because he literally told John like, come at your time. Don't come early to hang out like you used to. Come at your time. You know what I mean? So, which will change barbershops and salons. You know, moving forward, people hang out at these barbershops, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's necessary. So yeah, I do think that we are settling a little bit. Even with the NBA, like they're putting all the teams in that bubble. You heard about that,
Yeah.
right? And stuff. In a bubble in Orlando, not all of them, but most of the teams, and in August basically. But
For 2 months, right?
they're gonna be there for 2 months, but it starts in August, right? So the rules are they cannot leave the bubble. Literally, um, they can't bring their family for at least 7 weeks out of the bubble. They do have a lot of amenities. They get movie theaters. They get personal concierge, barbershops inside the bubble, but they can't leave the bubble for 2 months. So
Right.
my thing is,
How huge is this bubble?
it's Disney World or whatever. So
Oh,
it's not the entire city of Orlando. It's just Disney World, but that's a pretty large amount of square feet and stuff
right.
like that. They're gonna have players' lounges. They're gonna have the players at 3 different hotels in Disney World. Players' lounges. They can play certain games where you distance yourself, like table tennis or stuff like that, but not all games. But my thing is this: the NBA gonna start in August in a bubble. They can't leave. How the hell the NFL gonna start in September and they don't have a bubble and it's much more people and you're gonna let them just go to practice and go home and go anywhere they want to and come back and play? So that part doesn't make any sense.
Listen, bro, I told you it's gonna turn to the only the strong, man. At the end of the day, listen, it's like the governor of Florida said, we're not gonna back down. Think about it this way: the morale is so crazy with being quarantined. I feel like that's why the riot and stuff was so crazy. People want to get out. You seen somebody else doing
I
it?
said that on our last show.
You did, yeah. So I feel like I don't see a lot of governors backing down even when the stuff is gonna rise.
I I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
I don't. I mean I can see what you're saying there. I just don't know how football going to do it. If basketball got to be in the bubble, why not football a month later? Doesn't make any sense to me and whatnot.
Right.
So, and if I'm a basketball player, why the hell I got to be in the bubble without my family? But the football players can play, you know what I mean, and go home to their family. So that's a whole nother, a whole nother subject. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope at some point, we can get to that, whatever we need to do to keep cases down
Right.
and get to more of a normalcy, type of life and stuff like that, where we're not walking in stores with masks on all the time, where we're feeling, better about stuff and whatnot. So that's all I got to say on that. So
Might be our new normal.
I mean, according to you, we'll get to 0 cases, so we're gonna see about that.
Yeah, at some point. But you know what's funny? I went to Delaware. I think my perspective is changing a little bit. I went to Delaware and I did all this stuff, and we had a ball, right? We got to do all this stuff we can't do here comfortably and at the cost of just wearing a mask and washing our hands extra. So I feel like, to be honest with you, wait till you see the restaurants we went to. I'm talking about upscale restaurants, regular restaurants, donut shops. I mean, we lived it up. We like to do stuff. So every day we did at least 3, 4, 5 things for those 3 days, right? And wherever we went, we just had our mask. I feel like it was so normal to just have a mask, sit at your table, the person come up to you with their mask. You don't fully know what they look like. You just see their eyes, and they're talking to you with their mask on. It was just so normal, and it was.
I mean, the longer you do things, it becomes your new normal. So yeah, this could wind up being our actual new normal and stuff like that, which is, I mean, I feel bad for some people who haven't had experiences outside of this, like a kid didn't, this is new graduations all the time, right? I feel bad they never get a chance to experience regular graduations or weddings can no longer ever be more than, let's say, 75 people or whatever it can be and stuff like that. That would be, and then how do you ever bring concerts back or
church. I was thinking about church.
Oh yeah. So I can talk about that. My church, he can open obviously now and stuff like that with the new guidelines and to like half capacity, but my pastor refused. He said, until I can have everybody in there, I'm not opening. So his thing is that, how can I say half my congregation come in? Who can't come in then? How can I turn the other half away? How do I pick and choose what half comes in every week? If this half makes it this week, but next week the other half make it and they don't come in, then they're missing something and whatnot. So he don't want to do that.
Are they doing online stuff?
He's been having online stuff the whole time. Yeah. He hasn't gone away from that. But as far as actual opening, he's not doing it until the whole congregation come in, stuff like that. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but at this point, he's not going to do it because he don't want to say, the worst thing would be somebody got dressed and got there, and then they're like, yeah, we have capacity. I'm sorry. Like you're at the club. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they turn you away from church.
And then you got people being mad at people who are in there. It's like, you don't want to sow division with a church,
Yeah, and you don't want people saying, well, we got to get there early. So now people coming in earlier and earlier, every week because they want to make sure they get in and stuff like that. That would just cause so much division and stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense. So, but some churches right now are doing that. They're saying, look, we only have 50 people in here, stuff like that. So first come, first serve. But my pastor just won't do that. So every church is.
Yeah, I commend him for that.
Huh?
I commend him for that.
I do too. I promise you, I do. I thought that was amazing because, he could be getting some of that money that comes across the, the offerings and stuff like that and all the other stuff and whatnot. But literally, he's just like, I can't know who to turn away and why. So I feel like that's a good thing. So that's where we're at, people. I want to dwell on the coronavirus. We don't like talking about it as much. Things are getting better. We're opening stuff more and more and more.
Yeah.
You'll see some videos from Anthony at some point in his life. But he gets back at work though. To his and his defense.
It's been nothing but gaming videos on my channel because it's so easy just to stream. So it's been like, you sit down and you just stream what you're doing. So
yeah. Oh, one more thing with the corona, real quick. My job sent out a memo today that some people got to go back starting Monday and whatnot. Ooh. Yeah, and they said save it because when we all go back, these will be the guidelines. So kind of like your restaurants, temperature checks before you walk in. Right. They'll have masks available for you if you don't have one at the front desk. If you leave and come back, you got a temperature check again. all the lunchrooms going to stay closed at all times. Each bathrooms are only going to be for each department going to have a specific bathroom they can use. So let's say if you go to a bathroom for your department, 3 people in there, you just got to wait. You can't like, I'm going to this one, stuff like that or whatever. So I would assume they got to become less strict with some of their, you worked there before, but some of their, you know, time out your desk, you know, stuff like
there's
that.
a massive amount of people work there. Like,
Right. And if I can only go to one bathroom per department and the bathroom is 4 people ahead of me, what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? So it's situations like that. Also, they're saying that, like, you know, when you walk in, you got to do a temperature check, and the guard gonna ask you questions like, have you been around COVID? Have you tested for COVID? Yada yada yada. So if you're gonna ask me all that every time I come in, they got to be more lenient on some of the
and then
stuff.
what you gonna tell me? It's mandatory for me to get there half an hour early or 15 minutes early, and that's more out of, you know, than, are you paying me for that time that I'm in the downstairs talking to the guard?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't feel like that's, yeah, right. I'm not getting paid to answer his questions. You know what I'm saying? So that's not cool either. So they definitely, if they want to reopen fully, they definitely gonna have to be less stricter on some of their regular rules they had in place in order to operate and stuff like that. You know, is what I say. But we'll see what happens. Meantime, it's been a great show. I love talking to my guy Anthony here, man. Been a while. We're gonna try to make sure we get back more frequently. We got some movie reviews coming as well, of course. And we just appreciate it, man. We appreciate y'all. Anybody who subscribed recently, you know, we appreciate that too. Hopefully we get more and more. And thank you again. Anything left for you?
Yeah, guys, we thank you so much for watching. We thank you for commenting. Give a credit to Josh, because he's always a friend of ours and he's always commenting. He try to comment on every show, which is cool. But guys, commenting helps because it creates a buzz. What happens is YouTube algorithm sees traffic, because every time someone's commenting, it's more traffic. So I know our topics are, some are here, some are there, but we want to talk to y'all. So just comment, because it's pretty cool. You know, we love it. And share it, you know, post the video on the Facebook or something, or, you know, just share it, because I feel like we're the best kept secret. You know, we got we got some good stuff.
I like that.
You know, I feel like our personalities together. I feel like we put on a pretty good show, and I want us to, you know, get out there even more. So, and also the thing is, we also publicize other shows. We do stuff with other people, and we like to, you know, give credit to other people and stuff. So I love that whenever you get a chance, you mention, you know, the other people you do stuff with. I mention other people too, because we're not stingy. We don't want everything for ourselves. We want to show what we have, and also we want to be able to expand it, you know.
I like to feel like we're all one big content creating family, and then parts of us branch off with each other to do other things and whatnot. So everybody should really be sharing each other's stuff and talking about each other's stuff and whatnot. So
we could be like a network one day, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel like it is. So
and real quick, let me give a shout out to somebody local, Travis, that works at your job. He just you sent me that video of his. So I want to give a shout out to him.
His stage name is Tragedy Monroe. If y'all don't, you can look for that just under that, Tragedy Monroe. Just dropped a new single, Unbreakable. It's a video for it too, and it'll be, you know, it's gonna be an intro for one of my other shows, Food for the Culture and stuff. Intro and outro. So shouts out to Tragedy Monroe. Matter of fact, if you can you link his video?
Yes, I will. Yes,
all right, cool. I'll let them know and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. But thanks again for watching and listening, and you know, we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, guys.